Hello? 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 Are we working? Hi. So I'm back. It's been, I think, 2.5 years, maybe 3. I'm not quite sure. But yeah, I'm back. She's here. Yes, no makeup because some days we can put it on and there's days that we can't. So there's that. But I am really happy to be back. I've been a lot more active lately than I was in the past. You might be thinking to yourself, well, what happened, Kel? Where'd you go? Life happened. Before, when I was recording my podcast, I only had 2 children and we were done. We were like, books closed, put it away, all good. And then God laughed and he was like, sending you another one. So now here we are as a family of 5, 3 kids. And I have to say, it's been fun. There's been moments that have been difficult, but more fun than anything else. What have I learned with postpartum with the third? It's crazy. It's insane. It's insane. And I'll explain what insane means and what crazy means. First off, you already know what to expect, right? Because you already have 2. But you're outnumbered. So, there's only so many hands you can have. And sometimes you're giving attention to one child more than the other. One child more than the other 2. Or 2 children more than the 1. So, balancing that act is hard. But it has been, I would say, a learning for me. When I think about postpartum, my last few episodes were about, how do you handle motherhood? How do you handle being a working mom? How do you handle just normal day-to-day? And now I have to say that postpartum, the third time around, was a lot more harder physically than it was anything else. I have a guest. Do you mind going to your bed? No, thank you. Hold on one second. Yeah. So, it was very taxing physically. My nurses at the hospital were like, third time is a wild card. The third kid is a wild card. You don't know what you're going to get. You might either, magically be able to give birth in 10 minutes or you might be here for hours. And I was thinking to myself, I was like, I got this in the bag. I got my first kid and it was super fast. And the second was fast. The third one, it'll just shoot out, Not like that, you know what I mean? But no, it really took a long time. And just physically, I was exhausted. To me, it was 19 hours of labor, which for me was really long. For some women, that's the average. For some women, that's nothing. I've spoken to women that were in labor for 36 hours, 24 hours. So it varies, right? Every person's body is vastly different, but for me, it was hard. And then afterwards, developing high blood pressure and navigating that has been challenging because you have to, rethink how you eat, the amount of water that you're drinking, your stress levels. And then you're telling me that I went in for a doctor's appointment and the lady was the nurse was like, oh, what's your stress level? And I said, I have 3 kids. And then she said, do you get sleep? And I said, I have 3 kids. And she said, what is your exercise life? I said, I try to go when I can, but I have 3 kids. So again, it's that thing of you're trying the most that you can, but every day you'll have your battles and you'll get better. But again, physically, it was really hard for me to come home, to support 2 other children and then have a newborn. And so it really did take a year for me to feel like myself. So it's been almost 15 months since I gave birth to my baby girl, and we waited until the birth to know the gender. That was so much fun. I would go into every consultation. I'd be like, I don't want to know. Hide it. Hide it. I don't want to know. I don't want to see it. I personally, I do not want to know, because this is very important. And this baby was a surprise. So let's just keep the surprise going, Like, let's wait till the last minute. Meanwhile, my husband was like, I want to know. And I was like, you're not going to know. Joke's on you, boo. You're not going to know. And we didn't. We didn't know until the end. And it was so much fun, because as soon as the baby, I pushed the baby out. The doctor lifts up the baby, and all you see is the bum. And I'm like, I was looking for, a little something if it was a boy. And I was like, oh, it's a girl. And then my husband was like, great. He was like, no, I have 2 girls. And life's going to get harder. But no, it's been a joy. And I've been so graced to have 2 girls, because now I get to create a new vision and a new experience of what I think the world needs in a woman. Or not that I get to create it, I get to raise women in what I think is important biblically, what I think is important morally, and I get to show them, like, you have a really cool dad. So I hope you don't have any daddy issues, but you have a really great dad, and you have a brother that loves you, and you have a mom that wants to sit down with you and hear about your day and play with you and hang out with you. So those are the sorts of things that I want to instill in them, and I want them to know just how special they are. Even my son, he knows, but my girls, I want them to know, because us as women, we are in need of support and role models and women of faith to kind of pour out into us. To not only, we don't need to be shielded from things, I don't think, but I think we just need to be directed and guided into where it is that the Lord is taking us, as well as how to be discipled and then to disciple. And I think that that's the biggest thing as women that we need to hear is, like, practically speaking, well, how do I dedicate time to the Lord? How do I learn how to administer my home or my marriage or my friendships or my job? How can I praise the Lord in everything that I do, even if it's playing with toys? How can, when I'm angry, I just stop and I pray? So those are the sorts of things that, like, I'm teaching them, and it's been fun. And my girls are so different. I think every mom knows this. Like, each kid is very different, and you learn so much from each and every one of them, but you see yourself in all of them, which is really cool. Yeah. So here we are on this next phase of life. I am opening up more. You're going to see more content from me about things that I'm living, but it's mostly about not just that postpartum stage, but now I'm excited to get into this rebrand and to show you how I'm living. What is life at home with Kel? Who's Kel at home? And how does Kel influence the people in her home? Because that's my biggest influence. Of course, I love my subscribers. I love all of you. But my biggest influence is in this house. It's these 3 kids, including my husband. Whenever he needs my guidance, I want to be there for him too. So that's my calling, and I'm just going to be sharing with you what my calling looks like and how I live it out. So thank you for joining the ride. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And yeah, welcome to the Cal Edit.